agenda for today's session is going to be about subject enrichment activity. Actually came across the quotations of great leaders. Tell me and I forget, teach me, I may remember, involve me and I learn. I thought this quotation will give a beautiful start to our workshop. So this applies well in the classroom scenario. You teach them, you tell them, you do anything, they may remember for some time, for some period. You involve the children in all the activities, only then they learn and the retention will also be better. Came across a quote of the great leader Mahatma Gandhi ji, live as if you were to die tomorrow, learn as if you were to live forever. So it is a responsibility of we teachers to create the craving for learning in the students. How do you think, teachers, we can create the craving for learning? How do you think the students may be brought to a mode where they will ask more questions, they will be interested to know more things?
To provide them a clear path for learning the new things, to guide them.
To guide them, to provide them a clear path of learning. Excellent. Is there any other answer to this? We teachers have a greater responsibility of creating the craving to learn. It is a great responsibility of all the teachers, and it can be achieved by carrying an attitude in the classroom that creates an enthusiasm, an interest to learn. 50% of the attitude lies in the teacher, in the way we carry ourselves in the classroom, creates an interest, and rest of the 50% lies in the way we are going to present, in the way we are going to involve the students in all the activities. So, as I told you, we as EVS teachers not only have the great responsibility creating an awareness about the environment and the environmental issues, we also have the greater responsibility of creating a craving for learning in the students. With this, we will start our session. I have some 4 questions to ask you. Whenever you start with the lesson, we will have a time period for completing it. When do you think the lessons get completed actually? When will you have the satisfaction that I've completed the lesson? What are the effective ways of recapitulating the concepts? How can we develop creative thinking in the students? How can we fill the classroom with enthusiasm? There are 4 questions which I expect an answer from you. And a small clue is all the 4 questions carry a common answer.
Have we met our learning outcome?
Yes, ma'am.
Learning outcome, have we met the learning outcome?
Okay, you will check whether you have met with the set learning outcomes. If that is satisfied, you feel that the lesson is also complete. Am I right, ma'am? This is what you're...
To some extent, yes.
Yes, yes. Good, ma'am. Very good. Any other answers? Okay. In EVS, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, actually, in my class, what I used to when the average or below average students is capable of answering in their own words what I am expecting, that means the outcome. If the below average student answered, means I used to feel that was somewhat I was satisfied. Okay. Or average student.
Okay.
Above average, basically the first slot they came to understand everything. If the average and below average student, the answer means slow learners, I feel very satisfied.
When you
I have done something like that.
Very good, ma'am. So when you get a positive answers, replies, volunteers from the students, you feel that the lesson is complete. In EVS, we start the lesson with an activity to introduce the main topic, to introduce the subtopics. Once the lesson is over, we also conclude the lesson with an activity. Yes or no, ma'am?
Yes.
That is how we take the EVS class. We begin with an activity. We conclude the lessons with an activity. So the activity, I feel, makes the lesson complete. These activities may be used to recapitulate the concepts. We may be fixing some of the concepts. We may have a suspicion whether the children, the students have understood whether they need a second round of learning for a particular concept. Those concepts can be picked and set aside for doing it as an activity. Again, creative thinking in the students, the activities are there to inculcate the creative thinking, to develop the creative thinking in the students. And the classroom is automatically filled with enthusiasm. Once you start doing the activity, those who are never attentive in the class also will be attentive and will listen to you and will listen to whatever is happening in the classroom. So the answer to all the 4 questions is subject enrichment activities. So what do you mean by subject enrichment activities? Enrichment is something that adds more to what is done in the classroom, making the children have a deeper understanding of whatever is done in the classroom. So subject enrichment activities help us to have the satisfaction of completing the lesson, help us to recapitulate a particular concept, help us to develop the creative thinking in the students, and fills enthusiasm in the classroom. Once the classroom is filled with enthusiasm, don't you think the objective, our objective of teaching a concept and getting a positive feedback is fulfilled? So what do you mean by subject enrichment activities? Enrichment activity is an experience where kids can extend their learning to improve or enhance skills, knowledge, and well-being. So what are all the positive effects of enrichment activities? What does it bring about in the students? It improves their creative thinking, problem-solving skills. It helps them to understand the concept, creates interest in learning, develops an awareness about our environment. It improves their reasoning skill. It improves their communication skill. Apart from all this, don't you think, teachers, it also improves their self-confidence? Those who never volunteer to answer will definitely come forward. And once they find themselves in the place of the smarter ones answering to the question of a teacher, gradually we can see them climbing up the ladder and slowly moving towards from average towards at least above average. So all these are the benefits, you can say, of the subject enrichment activities. Now, whatever we do, it has to be planned properly. Before we take a lesson, before we start a lesson, there are a certain set of activities that has to be done in the classroom. So all that we do in the classroom, we do outside the classroom needs a proper planning. Planning lands us in success. So subject enrichment activity also needs a proper planning. So how will you plan for academic or subject enrichment activities? You need to keep 2 things in mind. The activities that I am going to do in the classroom will provide educational growth opportunities for the children. And it will also promote higher level thinking while learning important concepts. So these are the 2 things that we have to keep in mind before planning for the academic enrichment activities. Teachers, these activities cannot be done on the spot inside the classroom when you just enter, take a lesson and do some activity. It is not going to do any help to the children. You need to do a proper planning before you start an activity in the classroom. So what is the role of a teacher? What is the contribution of a teacher in the curriculum enrichment? You need to ask certain questions to make it a purposeful, focused, and a planned one. So what are the different questions you will ask to yourself? You have to set a learning outcome for the activities. What am I expecting my student to learn out of this particular activity? Then out of the given lesson, which topic I feel has to be learned again by the students? For example, in plant lesson, we'll be teaching them about germination, transpiration, photosynthesis, functions of plant. There are many subtopics. So sometimes we have a feel that this particular topic, when I taught in the class, or 20% of the children did not understand it properly, or this particular topic is very, very important from the exam point of view. So the child needs a proper understanding in that particular topic. So we have to choose a particular topic which needs to be enriched. How do you decide what gets to be enriched? What are the criteria you will put to decide on which topic you are going to select for the activities? And what choices will the students have? Is it going to be one activity for the whole class, or different activities for different children? Why do I say different activities for different children? Sometimes children, teachers, when we plan for an activity which involves higher order thinking, that may be a challenging one for the smarter ones. So the smarter ones will involve himself or herself throughout the 1 hour and do the activity. Think about the average and the below average children. They will not be able to involve themselves in the activity. So what will happen? The smart average and the below average ones will lose interest in the activity. At one point of time, they will stop doing the activity. They will become restless and they'll start disturbing others. Okay, think this way. If the activity is going to be a little easier, keeping the below average in the mind. So what will happen? The smarter ones will finish it off before the stipulated time. He will have nothing to do in the classroom. So he will become restless and he will start disturbing the others. So it should be a balanced one. Yes, Cynthia ma'am? Okay, it should be a balanced one. So how can we do this without making students feel that the teacher is grading and allotting the activity? We have to wisely divide the classroom into different groups. And you assign an activity for each group in such a way that they will help each other. They will engage themselves throughout the 1 hour and do the activity without becoming restless, without disturbing others, having their full focus and full interest in the activity that is assigned to them. So these are all some of the plannings that we need to do before we start an enrichment activity. So enrichment activities should include challenging situations. It should give enjoyment to the children. It should expose them to new knowledge and ideas. It should help them to think in a different or an unusual way. It should be risk-taking. Teachers, planning enrichment activity is not an easy task for us. We need to spend our quality time. I would suggest when you start preparing for the lesson itself, you start preparing for the enrichment activity side by side, so that once your lesson is completed, without much delay, you can present the enrichment activities and you can have the satisfaction of completing the lesson. So what is the purpose of such enrichment activities? Enrichment activities help the children to learn the concept in depth and with complexity. Education is no longer about learning to read or write, add or subtract. Education is something else. It is engaging the children in activities which gives them a challenge both mentally and physically. The traditional way of lecturing, the teacher lecturing and the student listening is gone. Lots of enrichment activities wrapped up with your concept will easily help you to obtain your objective, and you will get a positive feedback from the parents also. It will help the children to learn the concept easily, and the retention will also be better. So while planning for an enrichment activity, we will frame certain things. So I will do this from this lesson, I will do this activity, this concept and all that. Along with that, you also need to do what not to be done. Enrichment activity is not just a label. This is an enrichment student, so I'm giving him this activity, not that one. It is just not for the gifted students. As I told you earlier, it should be a balanced activity which will engage all the 14 students throughout that 1 hour. It is not the regular worksheet or the random assignments, games or puzzles. It is not an extra homework. It is not a different strategy for the same content. It is not a package that is the same for everyone. It has to be a balanced one for the whole class. And it is just not an unstructured free time activity. Teachers' enrichment activity is definitely not to engage the children for the 40 hours. It is definitely not to give internal marks. This enrichment activity should create an impact in the minds of the children, to create an interest towards learning, should make the subject matter better, understand, to make the children understand the subject matter better, and the retention should also be better. So that is our ultimate motive in doing enrichment activities in the classroom. So what is the importance of activities in the classroom? To nurture curiosity, creativity, to develop right attitudes and values, to develop psychomotor skills, to provide opportunities for the students to observe and explore, to provide a concrete learning experience. As I told you yesterday, the creativity that we inculcate, that we improve in the children is going to help them go a long way. Whatever you're teaching in science, maths, English, grammar or Tamil is definitely not going to help them in any way after 20 years when they go for a job. It is their creativity, their communication skill, their problem solving skills, their social skills that is going to help them run the show. So let us keep it in mind. Let us take every opportunity in the classroom to inculcate, to inculcate and improve the creative thinking, communication skill in the children. So what are all the different subject enrichment activities that we can do in the classroom? It can be a role play. It can be a poem recitation, speak on the given topic, storytelling, chart preparation, model making, quiz competition. It can be a group discussion. It can be a scrapbook work. Hope all of you have a scrapbook for EVS. So it can be a scrapbook work, field trips, hands-on projects. Whenever you give any scrapbook work, my suggestion is not to encourage them to stick pictures. When you write the heading as stick pictures of transport, the children will go straight to the shop. Sometimes they don't even bother to cut off the heading that is printed in multi-languages. So that is not the work we expect from the students. India ma'am, may I request you to keep your audio in mute? Okay, so that is not the activity we expect from the children. We want them to learn something out of it. So in the scrapbook, please make it draw pictures of transport. Yes, Mona ma'am.
Ma'am, in that case, if we give a drawing activity at the end of the chapter, say for example, yesterday we discussed about the water chapter. If we ask them to draw the water cycle process in a chart work, is that an enrichment activity? Is that comes under an enrichment activity?
Exactly, ma'am. It is helping the child to understand the concept of water cycle. It is helping the child to understand the different terms that is involved in the water cycle.
Okay.
That is adding to what you have already done in the classroom. That is giving the child a deeper understanding of the concept that is taught in the classroom.
Thank you.
So along with such activities, also plan for some activities like role play, poem recitation. Always don't give them scrap activity. You need to give them varieties. Our children easily gets bored. Yes, yes or no? They get bored easily. So we need to think of varieties for activities also. For every lesson, we need to think of varieties. You can do a role play also. So water cycle can be done as a role play. One child acting as a cloud, the other child acting as a water drop, the other child acting as a water vapor. You can do a role play. That will also give them a better understanding. So these are some of the subject enrichment activities. Help the children to draw pictures. Never ask them to stick pictures. And you can also give them a guidance of how to draw certain pictures. They may find it very difficult. For example, if you ask them to draw helpers, they may not be able to draw a proper picture. In that case, you can ask them to draw stick pictures. For example, if the child has to draw a doctor, the child can draw a stick picture. Do you understand, teachers, what do I mean by a stick picture? A head, a straight line, standing line, and two slanting lines for 2 legs and 2 legs. With that, if the child is going to draw a doctor, the doctor will have a stethoscope in his hand. Yes, steth in his hand. You can draw an injection on the right hand side. The child will also know the tools that is used by the helpers. So in this way, you are helping the child to have an extra information by making him or her doing the activity. So scrapbook work, please don't ask them to stick pictures. Please ask them to draw. We need to see their work. That is where we succeed and they also learn better. So multidisciplinary activities. These activities can be used not only for EVS, for any academic subjects. So what can we do? We can ask the students to write poetry as we did yesterday, just with some of the ending words, rhyming words, we selected and we made a poem for describing the water that is dropping from the cloud. So you can ask the child to write poetry. You can ask the children to write a play explaining or describing the concepts in any content area, or else you need not go into the curriculum also. You can just ask the child to write its own experience, what the child did in the weekend. Probably the child would have visited a beach. So you can ask the child to explain how they started their journey, what all they did in the beach. It is just to improve their creativity, their writing skill and their language skill. This can definitely be done. During the lunch hour, even some children will eat fast and will be sitting without knowing what to do. So you can engage the children in such activities. Can make the children do some costume design. You can ask the children to draw some special costumes, advertising posters, maps, route maps from the school to the house, or a book cover. Design a theme park. Yes, ma'am.
Can we ask them to make some model by using thermocol sheets or?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You can definitely ask them to make a model. For model, I would suggest ask them to use the waste items in the classroom. Recently, we have stopped using thermocol because once you rub the thermocol, the small balls start flying and it is little dangerous for the children.
Yes.
Sometimes it gets into the nose or ears. So we have stopped using thermocols. So I would suggest you can ask the children to use some waste materials they can bring. That will improve their psychomotor skills and also their creativity. They can design a theme park with rights to teach about the concepts in any content area. Or what if story. This is something I like to do in the class repeatedly. I'll give the children. If there is no glass invented, what will happen to us? If there is no bus, no transport at all, what will happen? If there is no clock, what will happen? See, you will be amazed to know, to read the creative writing of the students in what if story. Please try it out in the classroom. So these are some of the activities which I'm suggesting you. You teachers may get more interesting activities also. Please definitely don't miss to do such activities. Ultimately, keep the objective that we are going to improve the creativity in the children. We are going to improve their creative thinking. That is our ultimate objective. So such activities are just like scaffolding. Hope the picture helps you to understand what is scaffolding. Scaffoldings are support structures that is built to carry on a major work. Once the work is completed, the scaffolding will be removed. This is a very common structure in the construction sites. So we teachers are going to act as scaffolding giving support to the students, help them understand something and step back slowly, helping the children to do it individually. So learning, teaching concepts through activities is just like scaffolding. So what are we going to do? Support every student by breaking the learning into chunks, smaller fragments, and providing a concrete structure for each. Whenever we start with a lesson or we start with an activity, we always connect the concept to the prior knowledge of the children. Yes or no, teachers? We start from the prior knowledge of the students of a particular concept, and from there we slowly drag the children to the concept. Yes or no? So this is one of the scaffolding strategies, one of the scaffolding techniques. We tap the prior knowledge. We sometimes even give them some hints or suggestions and help them connect from the experience, from their experience to the concept that is going to be done in the classroom. So this provides a framework for the teacher to do the future lesson. And it is just a good teaching. It is not only a scaffolding technique, it is a good teaching. So it is just like helping the children climb up the ladder of the teaching learning process and taking them to the finish point where we stand as model, we help them how to do, we guide them, and gradually from the starting point, it is the work of the teacher to take them to the finishing point. It is just like helping the students to climb up a ladder. So what are the scaffolding strategies? Show and tell. First, give them an example. This is the problem we are going to do in the class. And this problem is going to be solved like this. So now I'll present a different problem to you. You can use the same technique and you can come out with your own solving skills. You can connect the children to their prior knowledge. You can give time to the children to come forward, talk, explain, ask questions, whatever it is. Pre-teach vocabulary as discussed yesterday. Teaching vocabulary, teaching spellings of odd words, making them familiar with more spellings is all the more important as it is as doing the enrichment activities. Use visual aids. You take a lesson. For this particular lesson, what are the visual aids I'm going to carry to the classroom? EVS classrooms looks incomplete without visual aids. Some aids you can make on your own. Some real objects. For example, if you're going to do germination, you can bring real objects to the classroom. If you're going to do a lesson on spices, you can bring real object to the classroom. Sometimes you're going to teach about birds. You can bring the bird model to the classroom. So whatever you teach, you have to plan what are the visual aids you're going to carry. Or sometimes you can even put up a chart in the notice board for the children to have a visual representation of what they are learning. And lastly, pause and ask questions. Then and there. Don't go on continuously teaching or using activities. Sometimes some children may find it difficult to understand what we are telling. Some children may be quick in grasping. So just by seeing or 10 heads nodding, we cannot decide that the concept that we are presenting in the classroom has reached all the 40. So pause then and there, ask them question relating to the concept, or please check whether whatever you have conveyed is caught by the children. They have understood whatever you are telling. You can ask them, children, is it okay? Are you comfortable? Any doubt in this? Shall we proceed to the next concept? Then one child will raise hand, ma'am, what is this? Then you can again recapitulate. Unless and until we ask, the children will never get up. Some children are there who will always get up and ask questions. But we are working for all the 40 students in the classroom. We have to keep all the 40 students in the classroom. There may be some children who may have some hesitation. Sometimes just by the face we can find out the child is having some doubt in understanding the concept. So we teachers have to be more observant in the classroom. May it be doing a lesson, may it be teaching a concept, or may it be doing an enrichment activity. Sometimes while doing an activity, we will give them a set of instructions, what to do, what not to do. So even that some children would have understood, some children wouldn't have understood. So every now and then, please ask the children whether they have understood and then proceed further. So what are some of the activities you can do in the classroom? For example, in the communication lesson, we are teaching the children the olden techniques of olden methods of communication and the modern methods of communication. Modern methods of communication, we need not teach them at all because they are well versed with WhatsApp, email, and whatever we do not know, they will come out with, Miss, this is also there, that is also there, and all that. So olden methods of communication, the telegram and all that, connect to your prior experience. So here you cannot connect the children with their experience. While talking about telegram, you can connect your experience. Even if you don't have an experience, you can cook up a story and present it to the children in such a way that they remember what is a telegram, what is a postcard, what is an envelope, what is a post office, and all that. But in this lesson, I feel that my children should understand that speech is the best gift of God to humankind. And I also want to sensitize them towards the difficulty of the people who have speech impairment. So I will plan for an activity where the children will play dumb charade. I will give them a small slip where I will write a message. So the children will understand the message and they will do actions, they will mime, and the other children will try to find out what the boy is actually coming to say. This is a fun-filled activity, but at the end of the activity, the children will definitely say that it's really difficult to mime. It is easy to speak out our thoughts. It is easy to express through words than through actions. So there I succeed. And then I will tell them, so speech is the best gift of God to humankind. So use it only for good things. So we teachers have the greater responsibility of teaching values also. The parents are in a fast life. They don't have time to, many parents, not all, some of the parents don't have time to sit with the children and even talk to them. So we take the role of the second parent in the classroom. So in all your lessons, please try to pick up a value that is suitable, that is relevant to the lesson, that is very, very important for the children to understand. Expressing a message through drawings. In one of the lessons, we learned that early men express with each other through cave drawings. So the children were posing lots of questions. So I wanted to have them an experience of how it will be to express a message through drawings. So this we did as scrapbook activity. So in this lesson, I wanted my children to understand the importance of speech and how it is to be used. So communication lesson, you can do thumb charade, expressing a message through drawings. Selecting a particular concept is at the teacher's discretion. I may think something is important, you may think something else is important. Both of us are correct. The ultimate goal is to help the children understand a concept in a better way, in an easier way. So next, seasons. In the seasons lesson, I want to check upon my children whether they have understood the different seasons. So I want my children to understand the different seasons. I want to know whether they have understood about different seasons. So I'll tell them, just make a poster of different seasons. You can represent it in your own way. Which season to select, it is your discretion. Whichever season you like, you select and make a poster. I will definitely not give them ideas. When we give them ideas, what will happen? Their creativity will stop. They will only go by our ideas. So what can we do? Such activities, leave it to their discretion, leave it to their planning. Let them plan, let them decide on what to do and how to present it. And again, such activities will also be interesting for us to correct it. So each one will come out with different ideas and we will be amazed, we will be excited to come across each one's creativity. Here, we can also catch the children who little struggle to understand, so that we can put them into another activity to give them a deeper understanding. So teaching and learning process is lively, effective, and dynamic only when they learn the subject by doing various activities. It helps to enrich their subject knowledge. It makes the students feel more connected and supported. It supports them to acquire knowledge outside their educational environment. So teachers, let us not miss to do subject enrichment activity. Let us take every opportunity to do some activity in the class to make the classroom an enjoyable one. So what are the different types of activities that you can do in the classroom? You can do some activities to create an awareness on the topic or to achieve your target. What is your target? Making the children learn all the concept is your target. So you can plan your activity to create an awareness or to make an accomplish your target in the classroom. You can make an activity to encourage learning and memorization. I think we have about memorizing, we have discussed a lot in the monthly meetings. Using mnemonics sometimes will work wonderfully when you want the children to memorize certain things. Certain things have to be memorized. I don't say that everything to be done understood. So certain terms have to be memorized. So for that, you can do certain activities and skill using activities where the learners use their language and use their other skills. So there are three types of activities. Repeat again. Some activities you can do to create an awareness about the topic or to complete your portion, not portion, complete the teaching process, making the concept teaching fulfilled in the classroom. Sometimes you do an activity for helping the children to memorize a particular term. Sometimes you will do an activity to improve their language skills, or you will help them to use their language skills so that it develops further. So what are all the different activities? Sometimes the activity may be connected to the curriculum. The activity may not be connected to the curriculum. Never bother. Our ultimate goal is to bring about a holistic development in the students. Don't worry that I will work only on the EVS concepts and all that. We have the role of bringing a holistic development in the students. Now, as the picture says, there are two persons in the market. So you can create a situation in the classroom, tell the children, ask the children to imagine that they are in a market. One is buying fruits, the other one is selling fruits. Or you can make it a public place, a bus stop, a railway station, whatever the lesson requires. And you can ask one to be like the fruit seller and the other one to be like a customer who is coming to buy fruits. You can ask the children to do some conversation. Now, I want you teachers to just tell me in this conversation, how this conversation is going to benefit the students.
They can improve their communication, ma'am, language.
Excellent. Excellent. Improve their communication skill. Excellent. Anything else?
They can enjoy the moment, ma'am.
They know the fruit name.
Enjoy the moment. Excellent.
The students come to know about the price of that materials.
Excellent, ma'am. So the students will also come to know the price of the fruits. They will come to know. Yes, ma'am. Very good. They will come to know.
As well as they will come to know about the measurement, that weight, that and all they will.
Excellent, ma'am. Excellent. They will know that every item is measured and it is purchased by giving money. Excellent, ma'am. Anything else?
They know how to
By the conversation grammar, we can improve the grammar.
Excellent, ma'am. Excellent, ma'am. So we are improving the communication skill. We are also improving the spoken language.
they know how to buy the products in the shop.
Yes, ma'am.
Children will be getting idea about the various kinds of fruits, ma'am.
Very different fruits.
Excellent. Excellent. They will come across various kinds of fruits that is available in a market, the names of the fruits. Excellent.
Ma'am, they will come to know about seasonal fruits, vegetables, those things.
Excellent, ma'am. They will come to know about the seasonal fruit. That particular season, what fruit and vegetable is available in the market. Excellent, ma'am. Anything else?
The quality
Sometimes
of the
even they will be
materials.
getting idea about the benefits of fruits also.
Very good. They can also converse about the benefits of fruits also. Very good.
They will express
they
the
will also
experience
use
what
of
they
fruit.
gained in the market, ma'am.
They will
Express their experience what they gained in the market, and their parents bargaining conversation. They will use.
excellent, ma'am. Excellent. So this is what even I wanted to say. They know how to speak to a fruit seller, how to speak to others, how to make yourself humble. Sometimes I feel that the children will need to be trained on communication skills. So such activities will help them.
From this, the child should can know which fruits have more weight, which fruits we have to keep first in the bag.
Excellent, ma'am. How to arrange the fruits according to their weight. Excellent. So, for example, here the set, the places market. For example, the same situation giving to the children in a railway station. So they will know what are the different things that they come across in the railway station. How do they know which train arrives in which platform? How do they come across the announcements? So there are so many things that we teach them regarding the railway station. How do they identify the platform? How do they identify the train number? How do they identify the berth, their seat number? Who are all the different persons they come across in the railway station? How the railway station will be? So give this activity in different situations for different groups. Make it a group activity, not only market, different public places. Maybe a library, maybe a railway station, an airport, a post office. The post office experience nowadays, the children, I'm 100% sure they do not have. So you can give, make them stand in a post office. Imagine them to stand in a post office and what all conversation you will have. By doing this, they will know the different persons who work in a post office, different things you buy in a post office, different activities that is going on in a post office. So this activity, this one small activity will help them understand a lot about the given place, will load them with lots of informations than you teaching in the classroom. This will give them a better understanding. Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, then one more thing, from this experiment, they from this activity, they could able to know how much they have to pay, how much they should get the balance, that amount, that about the money, they will get the knowledge, ma'am.
Excellent, ma'am. They will also know how much money they give, how much they should get back. And I will take one value from this, okay? So they will also know that the parents. Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, they can identify the differentiation of the fruits, that why one fruit is costing 100 rupees, why another fruit is costing 40 rupees. This is the availability of the marketplace, the place where it is growing, from where it is coming. It is from hills area, that is from next district, like that they can learn something.
Excellent.
The
Common fruits
rate, the cost.
Excellent, ma'am. Excellent, ma'am. Common fruits are a little cheaper than the fruits that is brought from outside. This also they will know. And also they will understand that the parents' hard-earned money is used for buying fruits and vegetables. So they will definitely hesitate to waste whatever snacks, whatever lunch they bring. So I always add a value to everything I teach. So these are the different things they will understand. This is a wonderful activity that helps the children to improve their communication skill, also load them with lots of information about the given place. So again, one more activity to improve their language skills. In class 4, there is a lesson called Grandma's House, where a child starts her journey to Grandma's house and she describes whatever she sees on the way. So based on this, we can ask the children to write a paragraph on their vacation trip. This activity will help in bringing out their creative writing skill, enhance their language skill. They can write to any place. Maybe the grandma is in the next street also. Never mind. The writing skill is what is aimed at, not the place. So the children may be encouraged. When giving such writing activities, you may give them some clues. For example, the place you went, the day you started, the mode of transport you used, the way you spent your holidays, the way you spent your time with your cousins, the games you played. Like that, you can give them some hints. So this will help the children to come out with a better paragraph on the vacation trip. Plant lesson. So I have taught them taught the children the different parts of the plants. Instead of making them draw a plant, you can ask them to bring a real plant along with the roots, dry it well, stick it in their scrapbook and write the different parts of the plant. So while doing this activity, it was I was not for asking the children to pluck out a plant. You shouldn't teach that in the class. So I told them, in all your houses, your mother will buy coriander. So take the coriander leaves, which is got along with the roots, so that you can wash it well, dry it, and then stick it in the a scrapbook and name it. This will help them understand better the different parts of a plant. What else can be added to this, ma'am? Is there anything else we can add to this particular activity?
Ma'am,
Yes,
for this activity, we can ask the children to draw the picture on the board. We can ask few students to label the parts. This can also be done.
Excellent, ma'am. One child will draw, the other child in turn will write the parts of the different parts of the plant. Excellent, ma'am. Anything else can be added to
And
this
other
activity?
thing, ma'am,
Yes, ma'am.
ma'am, they can bring the different edible parts of the plant and they can stick it, ma'am.
Excellent.
can just
Edible
arrange on the-
parts of the plant which will not decay can be stuck in the scrapbook. Good, ma'am. Very good.
We can take them outside to our garden and we can show a particular plant or a tree and we'll ask them to say the different parts of that particular plant.
Ask them to name the parts of it.
Excellent, ma'am. Our job of teaching will also go smooth. Their understanding and retention will also be better, and they will also have a fun-filled trip to the garden of the school, and they will come across many plants. So we can also teach them the leaves are different in different plants. The size of the plants are also different. So anything else can we add to this particular activity? So along with the parts of the plant, it is very, very important for the students to know the functions of the plants, different parts of the plants. So the flower makes seeds, the stem supports the leaves, and
Ma'am, excuse me.
transports-
Ma'am,
Yes, ma'am.
excuse me. Ma'am,
Yes, ma'am.
herbariums sheets we can make. We can make a
Yes.
herbarium.
Excellent, ma'am. Herbarium sheets. We can give that as a special separate activity. We can ask them to make a booklet of herbarium so that they will come across
Yes, ma'am.
different plants and they will stick on it. Excellent, ma'am. So
Thank you, ma'am.
excellent. So along with this, we can also ask the children to add the information of different functions of the different parts of the plant. What are the functions that is done by each plant? I feel when they do it personally, when they stick it and when they write it personally and when they decorate it, their understanding and their retention will be better. So harvest festival. There is another lesson, eating together, which talks about harvest festival in Assam. So this actually how I did the lesson was to give them an idea about what is harvest festival, what are all the different things that is done by the people of Assam during this festival. I also told them that harvest festival is common, celebrated by all the people of all the states in India in different names. I told them Pongal is also an harvest festival, Onam is also an harvest festival. So with this, I stopped with this. I told them, I divided them into groups. I told them each one select a festival of your choice. You are going to present it the next day in the classroom. The children did a wonderful presentation of different festivals from Bihu, Makara Sankranti, Onam, Baisakhi. They did wonderful representation, and all the 40 children were able to answer all the small details or information that is given in the book. The Bihu was done little elaborately because the concept, the lesson talks more about Bihu, whatever is done related to Bihu. So this can also be done as an activity in the classroom, which will help the children to understand the lesson or understand the concept better. Many children, if you ask them, where do you live? They say, I live in India. Make them well aware of their location. An activity like this can be done. So the children will write. This is one model of booklet. Again, don't give them suggestion of how to do the booklet. You just leave it to their discretion, their creativity. You just give your ideas. I want you to make a booklet where you will write the name of your street, the name of the city in which you live, the name of the state, your country, your continent, and ultimately the word that holds all these within it. So this activity will help the children understand the location better. So every EVS class, every EVS lessons, we come across lots of places. So whenever you teach particular place, for example, whenever you talk about Assam, you definitely ask the children, which state do you live in? Which city do you live in? Repeatedly, when you ask these questions, it is very, very important for the children to know that the name of the state is Tamil Nadu. For us, the name of the city is Chennai. So whatever place it is, you have to repeatedly insist certain things in the class. It's very, very important for them to know their location. Origami. Origami is again a beautiful activity which can be done in the classroom. For origami, you need to give some prior instructions. Actually, I thought of messaging in the group, asking you teachers to bring an origami sheet, but it was 5 o'clock when this struck me. And I thought I shouldn't, if you don't have an origami paper, you shouldn't curse me. So I thought, let the teachers just watch the origami, how a butterfly is done. Please do lots of origami in the classroom. Okay. At the end of the activity, what are we going to teach the children? We are teaching the children to do a butterfly
Observation skill.
Okay.
Time management.
Time management, observation skill. Excellent. Are we going to teach them anything else through this origami?
Art and crafts can be improved. They know how to cut, how to fold, that things and all, they can able to do it by themselves.
So we are improving their psychomotor skills.
Yes,
Folding, yes.
Creativity has been improved.
Creativity, very good. Their observational skill, their creative skill, their psychomotor skill. And at the end of the activity, tell them it is butterfly, it is an insect. Since it flies, many children have the confusion. It is an animal, insect, a bird, what it is. So through origami, you can make the children understand that butterfly is a colorful insect. Shall we watch the video, teachers? So that is origami butterfly. There are many origami paper foldings, and whenever you do this in the classroom, there are scissors available which cuts paper. So make it specifically tell them not to bring the sharp scissors, only paper scissors are allowed in the classroom. We have to keep in mind the safety of the children also. Only then the enrichment activity will be enjoyed by the children, by the teachers also. Yes. Yes. So topic germination. Instead of we teaching them what happens to the seed, how the seed absorbs water, becomes bigger in size, it starts sprouting, and the part that comes out of it, the radical that comes out of it, the plumule then goes, the radical becomes a root. All that we teach, they will remember for some days. Put the children to practical experiment. You can give this as an activity. Ask the children to take some seeds, soak it in water overnight, observe, ask them to observe what all the changes occur in the seed before soaking the seed and after soaking the seed. What are the changes that has happened in the seed? Then ask them to sow it in a soil. What all the different things the seed needs to grow, to sprout. Many children will say, as they list out for plants, the seed, the plant needs water, soil, sunlight. Make them understand that the seed does not need sunlight, it only needs warmth. So once the seed is soaked, we will wrap it in a cloth so that it gets air. It has moisture within it. It has the warmth and it starts sprouting. At this stage, spread it on a soil so that the seed starts growing. Ask the children to observe the growth of the seed every day and record the observation so that the child will bring this plant in this stage to the classroom and read out the observation on day one. What happened? When they soaked the seeds, what was the change that was observed in the seed? Then when they wrapped it in the cloth, what was the change they observed in it? Then when they put it in a soil, what started happening? After it started growing, they would have kept the plant outside their house, not inside. So once it starts growing, the leaves need sunlight to make food. Also make them understand which part of the seed helps the plants to grow. All these practically when they do, the retention will be better. They can also be made to do a model out of clay. They can use a clay to make a model to explain germination of a seed. Important enrichment, fun-filled enrichment activity or field trips. How many teachers like to go on field trips with the students? How many of you?
Yes, ma'am. All will like.
All of us.
Yes,
All
ma'am.
of us.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, it is not only a get-together. Yes, it is not only a get-together for the students, it is a get-together for us also with our parallel teachers to move out, to find different ways to help the children on understanding certain things. More than learning, it helps the children to move with each other. It brings about a change in the attitude of the children. It helps them to share their things with each other. It inculcates the habit of helping each other. You can see many wonderful things happening in the field trips, which will never happen in the classroom. So what is the purpose of a field trip? Field trip gives first-hand information to the students, whether you take them to a garden, to a planetarium, to a park, to the any outer public places. It gives a first-hand information to the students. It supplements, it adds, it gives extra support to the classroom instruction. Whatever they have learned in the classroom will be there in their memory. When they see it personally, they will understand better what they have, they'll recall what they have learned in the classroom and they'll understand better. And it serves as a preview of a lesson and for gathering instructional materials. Have you, any of you have a wonderful experience of field trip? Anything you can share here? Anything worth
Yes, ma'am.
sharing?
Yes, ma'am. We took the children to the post office, ma'am.
Excellent, ma'am. So how did they enjoy?
They enjoyed a lot, ma'am. How to
Excellent.
post a letter, how to separate the letters. We had all explained it briefly, ma'am.
Excellent. So it would have been a different experience for them because
Yes,
these
ma'am.
children,
Yes,
they
ma'am.
never get the opportunity of going to a post office. Very good.
Yes.
Very good. Actually, we took our children to the railway museum. Class 4 and 5 was taken to the railway museum. So the next day when they came back, we were just every teacher going into the classroom of class 4 and 5. We were just checking with them. How was the trip and all that. 2 children repeatedly were telling, Miss, we had lots of fun in the bus. Then we went to a park. They never spoke about what they saw in the railway museum, but they were talking about the happy time they spent. See, this field trip is going to remain in their memory even when they become adults. So that is the impact that creates. So many children also talked about the different trains that they saw in the railway museum, because nowadays even traveling in trains, using trains has also minimized. Everyone has started, due to time constraint, everyone have started choosing the mode of airways. So that was again a wonderful experience for these children. Any other teachers, any other experience? Any good experience of field trip? Sometimes we take them to the zoo. The
Ma'am,
children.
we have taken our children to the marketplace, ma'am. Near to our school, we have a marketplace.
Excellent.
So we went there.
Excellent, ma'am. So taking the children to a marketplace needs a lots of planning, because trip also needs lots of planning. Field trip is an educational procedure by which the learners obtain first-hand information by observing places, objects, phenomena, and processes in their natural setting. See, the learning is going to be a fun-filled one when they are taken to field trips, when they are exposed to different things which they came across only in their learning material. Advantages of field trips. Classroom experiences will be enriched. Opportunity to get first-hand information from natural settings. Monotony and boredom can be supplemented with natural, interesting, and exciting method. Some children may get bored every day sitting in the classroom, looking at the same teacher, learning the same concepts, doing lots of activities. Even that will, at one point of time, create a boredom in the children. So occasional, at least once in a term, we cannot be again and again planning for a field trip. There are certain difficulties in our side also in planning for a field trip, but definitely the children should have the experience of going to a field trip to have first-hand information, to mingle with their peers, and to learn lots of informations about what is given in their text. Motivates and makes students interactive and creative, quick learning, retention, opportunity to solve individual problems. So once the field trip is done, now I ask the children to talk about their experience in the field trip. So after the field trip, connected to that, what are all the different activities that we can do in the classroom? Is there any suggestion for any activity?
Yes, ma'am. Write 5 sentences about the field trip, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Write 5 sentences about the trip. That will improve their creativity and the writing skill.
Yes, ma'am.
They can
discussion.
Excellent, ma'am. They can do a group discussion. One child would have missed to see something. As I told you, a child was talking only about the fun-filled moment. She was talking about the snacks time, about the lunch time, playing in the park, traveling in the bus. So for such children, group discussion will definitely help. So we will divide them into groups and they will talk about what they saw, what they enjoyed, what they learned. So we will give them headings. What you saw, what did you understand? What is the information that you derived out of the particular thing that you saw in the field trip? Very good, ma'am. Any other suggestions?
Ma'am, why can't we enact a play role, ma'am? We can ask them to assume characters.
Yes. As they are people working in the railway museum, or they are people working in the post office, and some students can be made real students who have gone on a field trip to the post office, and these students can explain about their role and about the different activities that is going on in the post office. So that can be done. So whatever we learned in the under the subject enrichment activity is coming out one by one. We can make a role play, we can make a group discussion, we can help the children to write about their experience on the field trip. So different activities. Once the field trip is over, definitely make it a point to give a small activity which will help them to recall what they saw, and which will also help the children to have a glimpse of the things that they have missed to see in the field trip.
Ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
We can call the students one by one to say few points regarding the field.
Excellent, ma'am. Yes, that can also be done. One by one, they can come forward and they can say, yes, ma'am. While doing such action. Yes, ma'am.
The same thing we did in our school. We just asked the students to share their experience about the field trip in the prayer, ma'am. After the field trip.
Excellent, ma'am. Even we do that. Our principal also insists that whenever the children go out, they have to come and share, so that the other children will also get inspired and they will volunteer to go on such field trips to have a first-hand information. Excellent, ma'am. Excellent. So these are some of the activities. Yes. So once the field trip is over, let us not forget, let us take it little further in the classroom to help the children recall what really happened and to record it. So this will give another double learning. I would call it as a learning for the second time, and the retention will be better. So guidelines for using field trip. As we discussed for the enrichment activities, there are certain guidelines for using field trip also. You need to plan. Everything has to be planned properly. Proper planning learns all our activities in success. So what are the different plannings? Here, even here, you need to plan a proper place for example, one ma'am said that she took the children to the marketplace. Nowadays, the children are not taken. From the hygienic point of view, the parents never take the children to the marketplace. We are buying everything sitting at home. Everything is delivered at home. The children should have the real experience of going to a market, having a conversation with the fruit sellers. They should understand also the difficulty of these vegetable vendors or the fruit vendors, how they sit under the hot sun to sell all the vegetables. They should understand that they are the persons who bring the vegetables and fruits to their place. So all these experience should happen. So that particular ma'am has planned to take the children to a market. Similarly, we need to plan what experience we need in our children. For example, post office. That's a wonderful idea, because nowadays the children do not have any opportunity to go to the post office. So you can select such places, but you need to plan properly. By taking my child to this place, what are all the benefits the child gets? Does it add on to the concept? Does it give any enrichment to the subject that is taught in the classroom? So plan with a specific checklist. You need to take prior permission. Without prior permission, you cannot take the children outside. You have to arrange for a proper transport. You have to give the parents notification. Safety and emergency arrangement. This is always to be kept in mind. The safety of the children is our priority. From the moment we help them get into the bus till we make them get out of the bus in the school, till we enter the children back to the parents, they are fully under our custody. So usually we separate the children in groups, 10 children for 2 teachers. That is how we plan. 10 teachers will be in charge of, 2 teachers will be in charge of 10 students. So by doing this, you can be sure of the safety of those children. And you need to give lots of instructions to the children also. And booking and boarding facility, if it is going to be more than 1 day. Usually in primary, we take them for only 1 day trip. Plan a schedule and plan a schedule. What are you going to do? When are you going to start? When is going to be the snacks time for the children? After the snacks time, which are the places you are going to make the children go around and visit, and when it is going to be the lunch time for the children. Children need to have some leisure time. So when are you going to take the children to everything has to be planned properly before you take them to the field trip. The field trip has lots of advantage. It also has some disadvantages. What are all the disadvantages? If you don't plan it properly, the learning objectives will not be attained and it will result in only a waste of time. Field trips sometimes are little expensive also. Some parents may accept, some parents may not accept. So these are the field trips are expensive. Nowadays, the parents are ready to send the children. They never mind. They are ready to spend for their children to have lots of information. But from our side, we have to double check whether the planning we have done is proper so that the children get maximum benefit out of the field trip that we have planned. So these are some of the benefits. Provides a context for learning, general and subject-based knowledge, thinking, problem-solving skills, and life skills, such as cooperation and interpersonal communication. Many of the social skills will improve. They will suddenly make friends, new friends in the trip, and that friendship will continue in the classroom. When the friendship continues in the classroom, they will help each other for academics or whatever it may be. Offsite field trips are often seen as memorable to children, even when they become adults. They may seem well motivated when working outside the classroom. Sometimes it will be difficult for them to bring them back. They'll say, miss, some more time we will stay here and we will see this and that and all that. They will be motivated. Activities enhance their knowledge and understanding of the topics studied. A positive understanding of the environment develops. It may enhance children's positive attitude to the site visited. Social interpersonal skills can develop, particularly when children engage in collaborative tasks. So apart from the field trips, we are going to put them into lots of activities where they may have to work in groups. So this social skills will help them to work with their peers to achieve an activity, to come out with a problem solving skill. Children's cognitive development will be, and they will be loaded with lots of information and can lead to deeper understanding of the concepts that span traditional subject boundaries, which are often difficult to teach in the classroom. Sometimes some things are very difficult to teach in the classroom. So we feel, as Bhuvana ma'am said, while teaching plant lesson, you can very well take them to the garden. The children's attention will be fully focused on what we are teaching. Apart from teaching the different parts of the plant, we can also teach about different plants. We can also help them understand that not all the plants are similar. The leaves of the different plants are different. All this we can teach along with it. So when we take them outside, we have multiple things to teach them, to make them understand. So another enrichment activity is conducting quiz as a part of classroom activity. So there are many benefits. Increases their retention, identifies gap in knowledge, encourage them, prepares them for the next episode. There are lots of quiz activities. Teachers, have you conducted quiz activities? What is your experience? How do you feel? Conducting quiz is okay in the classroom, is not okay in the classroom? Why is it okay? Why is it not okay?
Only the toppers or the brighter students will answer the quiz questions.
Okay.
The smart ones will give answer. Yes, there's a more probability of getting the answers only from the smarter ones.
Okay, so what can we do for this, ma'am? We want all the 40 to involve.
We have to ask the questions individually.
Okay.
Like if we concentrate on the slow learners individually, I mean, if we post more questions on the slow learners, then we'll be able to at least grab some idea how they learned, how far they have learned the concept.
Okay. Also, you can make a mix of questions for the smarter ones, questions for the below average or average ones. Again, quiz is always. Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, when I plan quiz in my class, what I do that one day before, I ask the questions. I ask the students to prepare one question from that lesson.
Excellent.
So next day, they will not share the question. They will bring a chit. In that questions will be written. So next day, we will put all the chits. The teacher will put all the chit in a bowl, and one by one we will take out. So involvement of all 40 students will be there in the class.
Excellent. So by this way, the children will definitely be motivated to answer to the others' questions, and they'll be eagerly waiting for their question to be read out in the classroom, and they will be eagerly waiting to know who's answering. Yes. So another activity. Yes, ma'am. Excellent, ma'am. Abhilash.
Thank you, ma'am. And even the below average, ma'am, or the last one of the class, they will be also able to frame a question at least.
Excellent, exactly. And in the process of framing the question, they will definitely read through the lesson. So we are encouraging the reading skill in them. We are putting them into reading the lesson. So they will also come across whatever is given in the reader, and they will slowly be motivated to read the lesson also. Excellent. And also we can also, Bhuvana ma'am, we can split the class into different groups in such a way that every group has 2 smarter ones, 2 average ones, and 2 below average ones, and split it in such a way that they help each other. They don't dominate the groups. So whenever such activities are conducted, we have to be around them. We have to be moving around them. They have to be under our guidance, our observation. So we have to plan it in such a way that you can also make like this. They will take in turns and answer the question. Maybe the first answer will be given by the first boy sitting. The second answer, even though it is the answer of somebody else, the second boy who is sitting will come out with the answer. So by doing so, am I clear, Bhuvana ma'am? So by doing so, what we are doing, we are giving an opportunity for the average one, below average one, and the smarter one also to answer. Just like as Abhilasha ma'am said, another idea is to put up a cardboard, a plain cardboard. So whenever you're doing a lesson, for example, you would have started with a lesson. So you can ask the children to read the first page of the lesson and make as many questions as possible. And those questions to be put up in the cardboard. So during the break time, during the lunch time, the children may be encouraged to read the questions and they may be asked to answer. So unless and until you grade something, the children will not be motivated to do anything. They need some sort of appreciation. So what can we do? We can put a name chart and we can have golden stars. So whenever the child comes out with an answer from the cardboard questions, you give 1 star to the child. So whenever a parent-teacher meeting comes and the child brings the parent, the child will definitely ask the parent to look at the stars, number of stars against his name. So to get stars, definitely the child will involve himself or herself in such activities. So by doing this, reading skill is improved. We are improving. We are encouraging the child to read the lesson also. The children never read the lesson. 90% of the children in the classroom, take my word, they read only the classes. They don't read the lesson at home. So this activity will help us to make the children read the lesson, understand the terms, and they are making a question on their own. They are learning to frame a question. So we are improving their language skills also. If ever there is a minor error, tell it in such a way that the child corrects it. You don't correct it with your red pen, but ask the child himself or herself to correct the question so that the child gets encouraged to involve himself or herself in all the classroom activities. Ultimately, teachers, whatever we do, our attitude, our behavior, our mannerism, the way we move with our children, the way we carry ourselves in the classroom is something which is going to make wonders within the in the children. If we are going to be friendly with the children will not have any hesitation to come forward, to speak to us, to ask. Sometimes a child may have some doubts, but in fear, whether it is a silly doubt, whether the teacher will respond properly or not, in that fear, the child may not come forward to ask the question. So to break that, we have to create a friendly atmosphere in the classroom along with all these activities. All these activities, whatever you do in the classroom, you can succeed only when you create a friendly atmosphere in the classroom. The children should not have any hesitation to do anything, to speak to the teachers or speak to the peers. When you create such an atmosphere in the classroom, take my word, whatever you do in the classroom will become a grand success. And all the 40 children, may it be an average or below average, will be free to talk. Don't always think about the marks they get. They may get somewhere around 30 or 40, but ultimately we are improving the creative skill. We are improving the communication skill. We are improving the language skill. We are helping the children with the spellings of the words. At one point of time, definitely the child will start running the race and will go up the ladder. But we teachers have to slowly support, guide, and help these children through these activities, and also by being very friendly with the students. So model making. Model making is another activity. We also conduct lots of competitions. So the competitions can also be aimed at improving the creativity. Is there any specific competition, teachers, do you conduct on EVS? Any specific or a variety of competitions?
We celebrated Science Day, wherein the students have brought so many science models.
Excellent. So they made the models and they brought it. Very good. Excellent.
At the end of each chapter, I personally asked the students to create some or the other models related to that topic, and they'll bring it at the end of the session.
Okay, excellent. So by making them, by engaging them in model making, we are not only improving the psychomotor skill, but also helping them understand what the thing is. See here, a wheel of seasons, sunny, windy, cloudy, rainy. The children will understand what are the different seasons, different types of houses. Always a model making involve waste materials at home. And don't stop their creativity. You just give them 1 or 2 topics. We did leaf printing as an activity, EVS competition. I never expected my children to come out with a theme. So either it was an aquatic animal or a jungle scene or a park fully made of leaf. They used different types of leaves and they applied paint to it and they had printed. So by doing this activity, I'm also helping the children to know that the leaves are of different sizes and different shapes. And they also understand aquatic animals, now what all should be there in the aquatic animals. Jungle scene, what all should be there in the jungle scene. So the model making can also be used for competitions. It will improve their psychomotor skills. It will also improve their creativity. So I want you teachers to do model making. Okay. Suggest you need not do a model making. If you're really going to do a model making and present a picture or present it in the active workshop tomorrow, I'll be the happiest person to see it. Otherwise, suggest an activity. You can select a lesson of your choice, a topic, name of the model, and the materials required. So when you give such model making activity for your children, please don't suggest materials required. You just tell them, don't go out to buy any material, whatever is available at home. Only then the creativity starts working in the children, whatever the child sees at home. Once when my son was asked to make an eye model, you know, in the afternoon when we were having a nap, his miss told him to use only the items at home. So from the wall clock, he had taken out the glass part, which was in oval shape, and he had used this as lens and fixed it. The clock was gone, but his model came out very well. So when we tell that to the children, they will be looking around the house, and whatever they see, they will be thinking of the model. Can we use this for doing that model? Can I use this material for that model? So their creativity, their thinking, we are helping to improve. So materials required, it is for you. But when you give this activity to the children, don't give them the materials required. Leave it to their discretion. Tell them, don't buy anything from outside. Use whatever is available at home. So concluding thoughts. Enrichment, we have to understand, is not an additional work. It is a part of the program. It is a part of the lesson. It is not an additional work. It is a part of the lesson. Enrichment activity makes the lesson complete. It is neither the prescribed curriculum nor completely different from the curriculum. It is related to concepts and themes within the curriculum. It may be closely connected to the curriculum. Sometimes it may be away from the curriculum also. You can decide what you want your child to learn and accordingly decide the activity. Enrichment is productive thinking. Enrichment is asking open-ended questions leading to creative and divergent thinking. It is planned and purposeful engagement in learning. Again, teachers, whatever you do in the class, my humble request is to do a proper planning. Proper planning will land you in success and will help you to reach your objective properly. So plan properly. May it be starting a lesson, may it be doing an activity, whatever it may be, taking the children for a field trip. Field trip may be to your school garden. Even to take the children to your school garden, the children needs lots of sets of instructions. You need lots of planning. You need to take prior permission from the principal. You need to decide on the route through which you are going to take them to the right side of the corridor or the left side of the corridor. All the children together, which side of the garden. So proper planning for every of your activity will help you reach your objective, will also create a great impact in the children. Our ultimate goal is to create a generation which thinks more, which questions more, which has developed a very good communication skill, which has developed a very good language skill. Today's students are going to be future generation. So we have many students, many future generation sitting as smaller ones in our class. So let us understand our objective properly and let us do justification to our job. So I have one more activity for you. Okay, one is model making. It can be either in paper pen or if it is a real model, I'll be the happiest person to see. Can also explain what all the things you use and all that. So this activity is to improve the following skills. An activity which will improve the creativity, the language skill, psychomotor skill. Here, you need not specify the name of the lesson. You need not specify anything. It could be from the lesson. It can be outside the lesson also. What you want your children to learn, you decide on that first, and then you decide for think about an activity that will improve the 3 skills in the students. So this is the activity for today. Hope the tips and whatever we discussed in the classroom was useful to you.